The second of three Sustainability Ag conferences took place at the Gwinnett Center in Duluth. It is an event designed to help new producers improve both farming and business practices. Damon Jones has this story.
More than 100 producers, mainly those looking to start up their own farming operation, recently made a trip to the Gwinnett Center for a little advice on how to get the ball rolling. It's information the USDA and NRCS was more than happy to provide as they took part in a multicultural sustainability ag conference.
Letting them know how the NRCS can work with them to provide a lot of best management practices on their farms, what programs they may or may not qualify for, and to help them with the eligibility of these programs, because there is a lot of help available to them through NRCS.
One of the main issues that was emphasized by the NRCS was how to keep the farmers' businesses sustainable. As for what that entails,
they're coming in here learning how to sustain, in terms of sustain their farm, sustain their land. They're taking all, matter of fact, they're utilizing all the nutrients on that farm, whether it's grass, sod, anything that's recyclable, and they're integrating it back into the soil and making that farm sustainable, allowing that farm to live and sustain itself for the long haul.
One thing you might notice most about this conference is the absence of big farming operations, as this event is geared more towards the smaller businesses.
As you know, the population is growing, and so many small farmers are trying to get involved in agriculture, trying to feed their families and sustain their farms. So USDA has taken an integral approach in working with smaller farmers, helping them work and manage those smaller units. And we need to pay close attention to allow them to be able to afford the opportunity to work with those smaller units.
While the target audience might be small, the amount of information is anything but. The multicultural part of the conference was taken very seriously, as everything from economics to pasture land was discussed at this year's event. It's that type of diversity that not only attracts startup farmers, but also the established ones as well.
We have some innovative breakout sessions on aquaculture and mushroom production, and some things that they may or may not have considered for their farm. So we can open up programs that will enable them to find out what's going to work for their farms to grow what they want to grow.
Speaking of growing, the amount of interest in agriculture has seen a major rise in urban areas across the state. That's why it's so important for these types of events to take place in those areas, as they become very important to the industry as a whole.
Oftentimes we think about agriculture, we think about rural America. But when you really look at agriculture and the tremendous things that are taking place in this community here in Gwinnett County, in the middle of an urban sector, there are so many small farms growing vegetables, row crops, tomatoes. A lot of the vegetables that you eat daily come from small farms in urban sectors just like this.
Now, this is just the second of three conferences set to take place this year, with the final one being held in Perry on April 17th. Reporting from Duluth, I'm Damon Jones for the Georgia Farm Monitor.